Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 25 of the TEW 2020 New Japan Pro Wrestling series here on the channel. As we're in the year 2021, and we are at the King of Pro Wrestling Tour. And I feel like it's not really necessary to go through the tour goals or anything like that because obviously the focus is on the tournament. I don't want to give away too much of the tournament, so we're just going to get right into it. And we'll start with this first show, which we have all the tournament matches as far as the qualifying matches lined up already. So we'll just have to add about 4 matches on each show up until obviously the final show, which is already booked out. So that's great. But yeah, we have first show being in the Differ, which that's interesting. I don't know if we'll change that or not. As Liger and Tanahashi. So Liger spot before wrestlers court accused of failing to pick up his share of the tab. Oh my God, Liger being cheap with people as the judge Hiroshi Tanahashi found him guilty and sent him to buy drinks for him after the show. Then Ishii and Harada as he passed on microphone work to Harada, and then Naito came to you backstage and he said that he thinks that Jay White has a bright future and they'd be willing to put him over to the next level. That's pretty awesome. And that's will expire in 2 months. Cool. All right, that was awesome. So yeah, the last show it was at the Differ too. That's kind of interesting as it got a 66. We'll see if we go as far as this time around. We probably actually won't run in Kanto if we can help it, as Hiyami and Osaka's probably our best bet. Probably be, I guess we could run somewhere else first, as we'll run the Akita Gate Arena. As for the matches here, so we have like a Gaijin one of Kingston, Miro, Jay White, and Shelton Benjamin, and then a Dark Order one of Brody, Evil, Will Hobbs, and Calvin Tankman. I think this one will be the better one, so we'll have that one be the main. As far as Brody, Lee, Evil, and Will Hobbs, and Calvin Tankman. I don't know why that was taking so long for some reason. That was weird, but finally got that sorted out as Brody will be winning. Figured so. I think everyone probably saw that one coming. Could have probably given it to one of the young upstarts in Hobbs and Tankman, or even Evil, just to kind of give him something to do. But Brody's just too awesome. And he's going to beat Will Hobbs there. And then Kingston, Miro, Jay White, and Shelton Benjamin. Which are pretty interesting match. I think everyone's got their strengths. But Jay White is going to be beating Shelton Benjamin. But the real big thing here is that because of what's going on here with as far as how the finish is going to take place, Jay White is going to be instructing like Miro, like he's going to be giving him orders. Miro's going to be taking the orders, so everyone's just like, what the world's going on? Blade Runner in front of Miro as Miro's laid out Kingston, and he doesn't break up the pin. Everyone's just like, what the hell is going on? As Miro joining up with Jay White. Jay White then, they embrace, kind of laugh it off, and everyone's thinking, oh, Miro's now joined Bullet Club. As out comes the Bullet Club guys. What's left of the Bullet Club, and he grabs a microphone as everyone comes out, and he's just we'll have it be on entertainment because it is a promo, as saying that Bullet Club has needed a change for a long time. It's been going on for almost 10 years, since 2013. It's been a staple of New Japan. It's been regarded as one of the greatest stables of all time. It's given so many people that I've admired and have helped broke me into New Japan in King Devitt. I said King Devitt. Now I'm saying King Devitt instead of Prince Devitt, thanks to the Noah series. For Prince Devitt, but I look around and I'm seeing new faces, and I'm seeing faces that, quite honestly, don't live up to that expectation of what Bullet Club used to be. And I was thinking, it's like, do we just add new people? Do we get bigger? Do we get better? Sometimes when something is in its dying states, instead of nurturing it back to health, getting it bigger and better, Sometimes you just gotta put one in the head. That's what we're doing with Bullet Club. Devitt, nothing personal. It's just business. Bullet Club has been nothing but holding me back. Kenta leaving was the final straw. We don't need this. We don't need this banner. We don't need this logo. We need a new image. And it starts with the death of Bullet Club. As then Miro and Taiji Ishimori beat down El Phantasmo and Yujiro Takahashi. So Ishimori turns on El Phantasmo. Miro lays out Yujiro. Then he also lays out El Phantasmo too, just to add insult to injury there. So Jay White says, this new vision, we're looking for the baddest, the toughest, the meanest people that we can find. There's a switchblade. He's carving his own path. This isn't an era. This is a new wave. The House of Torture is going to bring New Japan to its knees. You know, Task Force Death. Talking about they're going to destroy New Japan from the inside out. Good luck with that. Because to get through New Japan, take everybody else out, you have to go through the House of Torture. We got some big names lined up that I think will fit that role of House of Torture. You've all been warned. Bullet Club's dead. The House of Torture is here to stay. So we got a new stable instead of Bullet Club. The end of Bullet Club. It's just kind of funny, as now, since our last recording, there's been some big things that have happened in the real wrestling world as far as right now. You know, Jay White turned on God at Impact, and looks like Gallows and Anderson are going to be back, which is just interesting. It's kind of not really reinventing the wheel there. But it seems like everyone's kind of excited as far as what they could do with that, as far as if they can go to AEW and I just, as someone who's very much on the side of probably shouldn't do a Civil War again. You know, it didn't really turn out so great the first time, but I think just as a whole, Bullet Club should probably be laid to rest and have something new. And it's, we use the House of Torture namesake, since it was already a namesake, obviously, in current day New Japan. We went with a different logo, though. I kind of made my own. We'll just kind of look at it real quick. As far as that, you see who's going to be the first kind of big name coming from that, as it's going to be Toru Sugiura. We finally got something for Sugiura to do. And we're going to add some more guys. It's this idea of deathmatch guys, some fucking badasses, and having Ishimori there as well as the junior, but being a junior that's doesn't really fit in that same mold, I don't think, as far as what House of Torture is, so I think that's going to be unique. We'll see what happens, though, with it, as far as that run goes. As far as now for this card, what else we can do? I think we should add the Bullet Club guys, have either a 6-man or something, just to get them. They're kind of, the last time it's going to be Bullet Club. And it adds a little oomph to that, to the turn. Which, I think we're going to do just all of them. So we'll do, El Phantasmo, Taiji Ishimori, Yujiro. As against is, that's the better question here they're going to take on. Because I was thinking Chaos. Thinking that was probably for the best. So I think maybe go in that regard. But then again, I don't know who. I guess it would be Yoshihashi. Which is not great, but then we'll have. We'll do Robbie Eagles and Francesco, just to even add, a former Bullet Club guy and Robbie Eagles. Do Francesco, and so we got. I don't think 20 minutes is. That's definitely not necessary. About 12. And we'll have Yoshihashi beat Yujiro Takahashi. Boy, oh boy. Just the worst thing in the fucking world. There we go. Cool. As thinking as far as what we can do with the rest of the card. We do have Shelton Benjamin, so maybe we could do something with the Foundation. Maybe a junior tag regarding that. So I'm trying to think what will probably be our best bet. Anytime Fred Yeh is involved, I think is our best option. Now, obviously, when it comes to who's the other one, Casanova is kind of getting there as far as popularity goes. It's probably Myron Reed's probably the better out of our options. So we could go with that as well. I guess we'll go with Myron. Could also try Lockhart, but just we'll have it be a technical master class anyway. So yeah, we'll use Yehi and Lockhart. And for the team that will face, think of the Velocities, which I don't know now. I'm thinking about it. It probably should be a team that can kind of do tactical stuff. So maybe trying to think what would probably be a good idea if we could do. Yeah, maybe it wouldn't work because Greeny's not really a junior, but would have been an interesting. I guess we'll do Suzuki-gun. That's probably our best bet, honestly. So we'll do Kanemaru and Despy. So we'll look and see. How about say? I don't think we've done this before. Give it 16, and we'll have. I kind of want to give the Foundation a win, but Suzuki-gun at the same time could use a win. We're gonna have Yehi beat Kanemaru. Big win for Yehi, and hopefully it works out. Hoping. Yeah, we'll just we'll pay him off. This is kind of the only thing I got about there. So we got our opener at least. Now we just kind of need a steal the show match and another kind of mid card match. If we can. Kind of forget what's on the next show. So maybe something involving those people that are on the next show. As far as, okay, it's the Junior 4-way. And then the Chaos 4-way. I mean, we could do something as far as we could do Okada and Yano against Goto and Ishii. That could kind of be fun. Kind of like a prelude for the Chaos 4-way. That could kind of be fun. Not sure as far as how well that's going to go, but we'll give it a shot. Yano, and then have the Kayak Pitbulls. Goto still got that bruised pectoral muscle, so that's great. About to say, I don't think we've done this. But as far as them being in the same time in the same ring, as far as in the same match, only 3 times this series. But we're going to give the Kayak Pitbulls a win here. We're going to have Ishii beat Yano. Fun little match. Give it 20, and there you go. And then our Steal the Show match. We'll have it be. I'm trying to think what would be a good idea. Maybe Reynolds and Black Taurus have a junior tag match. Since Silver's still hurt. There we go. Let's see. Junior tag team. That could work. Golden Dragons is always a solid idea. I think we've done this before, though, I'm thinking. Yeah, that's right. Since the always got a blown eardrum. Yeah, we'll kind of... Even though we haven't done this before, we'll go away from it with Santa Deora having a blown eardrum. Yeah, I think this is now time to use the Velocities. Good call. And I think John can still do angles, so I think he can do an interference spot. I'm just kind of curious to see. Nope. He can't. Well, we'll have Black Taurus beat one of the Velocities. Doesn't matter which one. And I think we could have some fun, like a post-show thing, where Brody's kind of checking on how the recruiting process is going. And it hasn't went well. And as far as Reynolds and Silver, And he's kind of throwing a lot of the blame on Silver. It's like, you're fucking injured, man, and you still can't even recruit anyone? Like, what are you doing all day? Just fucking cranking your crane around? What's going on? And just, kind of in that same light of the BTE, just wouldn't say spots, but I guess skits is probably the better word for it. And he's just disappointed, throws papers at him, kind of storms off, but he's just like, they're going to be impressed, though, with the Dark Order when I win the King of Pro Wrestling. Brody. Chicks. There we go. Just something like that. Something, just comedy. Is pure comedy is what we're looking for there after the four-way match. Yeah, we're good to go, obviously, on the show now. We got our 6 matches. Got a couple of angles, too. It's 31 for the opener. Not great, but yeah, I was the best guy in the match. So, right decision, at least for him beating Kanemaru, even though Kanemaru's pissed. As yeah, with the Koji clutch in 1601. 62 for Bullet Club and Chaos. Last ever Bullet Club match. And it's a 6-man when they lose, but here we are. Ishimori carrying that fucking match. But I mean, Francesco and Eagles at least was okay, but fucking Yoshihashi's 38. Embarrassing. Embarrassing. 43 for, I figured this would be a little off a pop, and it was, is Black Taurus with the Infernal Suplex over Paris de Silva in 12-16. Pretty good stuff, though, for Taurus and Jude London. Really, just the velocities as a whole. Came up short as a pretty good tag match here. 74, thanks to Okada and Ishii, as Goto's injury really taking a big toll. Okada was off his game, but Ishii with the layered after the GTR on Yano in 2012. And a 65, and I had the angle all fucked up, so that's great. Had it in the wrong spot. But this match did really well, though, 74. It's Jay White and Miro. That looks like, as far as for the House of Torture, it's looking like it's going to be in the right direction. That's cool. And then a 75 main with Brody Lee getting the win. Obviously, best guy in the match, but Evil at least was the second best guy. Hobbs and then Tankman. Hobbs probably shouldn't have been the guy to take the fall. A solid match there. And it did pretty well, except for John Silver. Yeah, I mean, think as far as did better than last year's show. And I think having a pretty big moment in the Bullet Club. Which, that's probably been a long time coming, to be honest. But we, sure, not having those shirts, we'll probably still, sell the shirts, as far as, merch and whatnot, because it's a fucking Bullet Club shirt. Definitely now that it's over. But, so I think it's kind of like when they would retire, a toy from, the any type of, store. Prices would kind of go upwards elsewhere, just knowing that it's the end. So hopefully, I think that's a great move for business if we were to look at it from that perspective. Yeah, but on to now day 2 here, because obviously all these shows are back to back to back like that. As we should probably try to pay off Kanemaru, though. Give him 10,000. Hell yeah. That was worth it. Yeah, we made so much money from the G1. We also invested into New Japan World. New Japan World now, we are now broadcasting medium size for Japan, which is awesome. Also I'm tired of Simon Grimm, but I think we're going to keep Jacob Fatu around. I don't know, though. Stats aren't great. He's kind of over. I guess we'll just kind of let it be. There's for the second day. See what we got. Now they got us back in the diver. I got another 66. We got some more backstage incidents. As Tanahashi entertained the locker room by organizing a poker tournament, again with Ishii and Arata. He passing on psychology tips to Arata. Then Shibata passing on microphone work to Kento Koben. As we'll look and see. I think this will be an Osaka show. I think that's for the best. We'll have it be at the Wakayama Prefectural Gym. And it's obviously the mains, the Chaos 4-Way. As Yano, with the upset win over Okada. So the idea, Kenny comes in on interference, shockingly shows up and V triggers Okada. Yano capitalizes with a roll up afterwards, and he steals one over Okada thanks to Kenny Omega. So I just thought that was a fun little finish. It's Okada. Figured he was going to be pretty furious, but as far as going forward too, I think that could be a fun U.S. title match. As far as down the line, Black Taurus, Rocky Romero, Ryu Lee, and Ryusuke Taguchi. This is just kind of like all of the somewhat top juniors from kind of elsewhere, as far as like a Dark Order person, having someone from Chaos, having someone from Next of Blood, and having Ryusuke Taguchi is kind of like the Lion Mark Junior. Felt like it was a fun idea, and Ryu Lee's going to beat Taguchi. Could be a pretty good match, I think. Fingers crossed there. As far as what we could do on the card, I think having, I don't know what juniors we could have to make it be a big ass 8-man, so I don't think that's gonna happen. But maybe having maybe a 6-man. As far as doing having like a young lion type of because having Harada in there with either Show or Yo, probably Show or Yo since we just booked Francesco and Eagles. And then as far as who's going to be the young lion, the other side here, I guess we can go with the Dragon Masters. And we'll use Hayato Yoshida, or we could either do, I'm not really sure. I'm thinking about it. Not really sure. I think we'll keep, I think we'll have it be Yoshida. I guess it'll kind of work. It's not the best idea I've had, but it's an undercard match, so we'll just kind of let it be. Give it 12, and we'll have Wado beat Harada. I feel like Harada should probably win, though, at the same time. Yeah, let's see what he can do. As far as he'll give him a win. Because I don't think he's technically a young lion anymore. So I think this will be not the greatest of matches, but an undercard match nonetheless. So we'll need a technical masterclass and steal the show match. As far as technical masterclass, I think a Team Filthy appearance would be a good idea. We'll do Tom with Alexander and Garcia against the Foundation, Shelton, King Mo, and Yehai. And we'll give Alexander the win over King Mo. Nice. So now we just need to steal the show match. And another match. Just another kind of slightly better mid-card match, I would assume. There's probably a tag. Not sure exactly what I want as far as, I think throwing the Bucks out there would be a pretty good idea. At the same time, maybe not. I kind of would love to do a Never Openweight 6-man title match. That would be great, because we just, we're not really doing that on, it's been a while since from doing, the G1 and whatnot. We'll see what we got as far as, having, Juice with the Super Island Destroyers. Or actually, no, it's not that. I'm trying to remember who is the other people. Is it not? I could have swore it was. I was about to say, they just didn't show it. We got him on the wrong side. And I'm on the champ side. And then Juice. I'm trying to think who would be a good match for him. Yeah, because, I mean, Evil did beat him. Kota Ibushi's beating him. Shingo, Hiromu, of course, of LIJ. Just trying to think what would be a good setting. Think probably having Yeah, I think doing Evil with Disciples of Darkness. Let's see. We haven't done this before. Now, this is an interesting dilemma here. It's like, do we change the titles here? Do we have it change hands? It's not the craziest idea. Man. Man, oh man. I think we're going to keep them. I think we're going to have them retain. Because I think they have had not even a defense. Yeah, so it's been almost 2 months with no defense at all. I think this is a good idea to have Juice beat Evil to at least get that kind of win back. As slow building it, probably a bad idea, but oh well. Oh man, probably should put the fucking belts on the line. There we go. And now our Still the Show match will go before that match. We've done a lot of 6-man stuff, so I think maybe a tag would kind of go in the right direction. As far as how that gets there, though, it's man, it's tough. It's a tough spot. Strong Style Riders could use a tag match. See what we can do as far as yeah, do them in Great Bash Heel. We've done it once before. That was back at last year for the Road to Wrestle Dynasty, which got a 54. As far as stealing the show, I'm not sure exactly how that's gonna go, but they'll beat Hanma. As Kingston with a nice win now for the Strong Style Riders. We got our Day 2 show in the books. It's a 56 for the opener. Josh Alexander did really well. Shelton was a little bit off his game, but good match though. As Josh with the TK over King Mo, who was the worst guy. Actually, no, Garcia was. Damn. But still, I think it's probably should have went with the Foundation side. Yehai was the third best guy though in the match. That's awesome for Fred Yehai. 53 for the 6-man of Chaos against Yoshida and the Dragon Masters is Harada with a submission win. Yeah, I mean, Harada outperformed him for sure, and Fujinami's getting better. Yoshida's slightly a little better than Harada. We just got to get our younger undercard better, and it's going to be like pulling teeth at times, but we'll have to do it. As Strong Style Riders taking on the Great Bash Heel team as Kingston with the Blackout Lariat and 12-12 over Hanma. Yeah, I mean, that just makes sense. Kingston was a little bit off. He was actually really off his game, and he only just got slightly outperformed by Makabe. So because of that, the wrong team wins, but I think obviously the right decision was made there. And the 69 for the Never Open 6-man tag title matchup as Juice with the Pulp Friction over Evil in 2010. So yeah, Tankman and Evil did pretty good, 64-61. Juice and Cobb and even an alright someone. I mean, really, there was not a bad guy in the match. Probably should have went. It is too close, though, I guess, with Juice being so much better. I think the right decision, though. Blue United keeping the belts as the Junior 4-way. Ryu Lee with the Disconuda Dora in 1749 as Ryu Lee getting the win over Raisuke Taguchi as a 65, 56 for Taurus, 55 for Rocky, and a 54 for Taguchi. So pretty much all in the same ballpark, but Ryu Lee makes sense there. And a 69 for the Chaos 4-way. Thanks to the Kenny Omega interference and run-in. Yano with the roll-up, getting the win and beating the U.S. champ. Who would have guessed it? As the man who made it to the finals last year against Hiromu doesn't even make it to the tournament because of Kenny Omega, just to add a little bit of fuel to the fire. And a little shock with that, with Yano advancing. Ishii almost got hurt from Hiroki Goto. That would have been a ball buster there. 68, that was one of the worser. It's kind of crazy that nothing went above a 70. Though with Yano getting a win, I can understand that. But that opener did pretty well. That That's exciting. Yeah, I mean, all in all, it was a decent show. Nothing too crazy. So yeah, we can now take a recording break. So we got the New Japan Strong taping. Then we'll be back with day 3, as we only have 2 more qualifying nights, and then we're on to the King of Pro Wrestling tournament. I love this tour, especially after going after the G1, where we ran so many goddamn shows. Hopefully, fingers crossed, nothing bad happens, and that tournament goes really, really well. Alright, day 3, we got us in Corkin. This is a pretty good show, so I might be staying in Corkin, but we do need Corkin, or not Corkin, we just need that area. We just need to probably run the main show, in Tokyo, so probably will not be running it in Tokyo, as a show was brought before Wrestlers Court, accused of making a mess backstage and not cleaning it up, annoying everyone else out, as the judge, Hiroshi Tanahashi, found him guilty and sentenced him to clean up and then buy drinks for everyone after the show. So, yeah, that was interesting there. So yeah, that's going to be a tough one as far as what's going to be the main. Probably the Task Force Death one, but obviously that would be Shingo, but since he's won the G1, not going to be in it, and felt like that's the best option now. As okay, so it's still it's severely reduced. Oh boy. So yeah, we'll try to go somewhere else. Oh, perfect. I mean, we'll definitely be way under capacity, but it still should be a pretty good show. We got our main event, which Pac is going to win. Is going to beat Joe Doring to get that win back from the G1. As well, will have Red Shoes be the ref. I think that's going to be a really fun match, though. And then Naito, Sonata, Hiromu, and Bushi, as Naito's going to beat Bushi. He's going on, so the 2 people who were in the finals, and obviously last year's winner, Hiromu, doesn't even make it to the tournament, which is interesting. I just don't feel like Hiromu needs it with him being the Intercontinental Champ right now. Just felt like that's the right decision. So, not Task Force Death, the House of Torture. They get their big little debut, as it's going to be, of course, Jay White, Miro, but the 2 new members, in Brody King and Toru Sugiura, making their debut, which, finally we get to have Toru Sugiura do something. Took a year to finally figure something out for him, and I think this is a great spot for him, because really with Brody King too, Brody King, his pop is not great, but, I mean, I think he's going to fit right in. I've been waiting to bring in Brody King for a long time. Just, again, was waiting for that right opportunity. We finally got it. Because he could either have him team with Miro, or we could have him team with Toru Sugiura, even him and Jay White. There's a lot of different variables as far as who he could team with to help elevate. Plus, it's just as far as, chemistry-wise, maybe him and Miro can do something, or him and Sugiura again. Like I said, we could figure it out, and we got a lot of time to do that. As far as who they're going to take on is a great question. As far as Chaos would be a pretty good idea, if we can. As far as that could be, or actually, I think doing Tanahashi with Ibushi and in the Bucks, which is that's a crazy ass. But they're also the next show. That's what's going to be one of the 4 ways. Is Tanahashi, Ibushi, Matt, and Nick Jackson. Just felt like that was a cool 4-way to do. But yeah, we're going to have Jay get the win. As Jay White. Maybe not, though. I don't know. At the same time, it's interesting. We're in an interesting position. Yeah, it's man, it's tough. It's tough. Part of me is thinking maybe having Toru Sugiura win? Because I think if we have a new guy get the win, I think that could be really impactful. So we're going to have Toru beat... Ooh. This is... He's either going to beat one of the Bucks, which would probably make sense, or we have him beat someone like a Tanahashi, which would be pretty crazy. I think we're having him beat Matt. that's a tough match, though. Tough match to really decide. Yeah. Maybe not. Well, maybe we'll save them for somebody else. Go back to the drawing board here. We can go with Liberty United. I think that's a better option. So we'll do Juice, Spadine Destroyers, and we'll use Hammerstone too. Nice. Much better. Much, much better. And now we can have Toru beat anybody, really, out of that group. We'll go with Hanare. And much better. Much, much better. As far as what we can do, let's make it a 10-man. Let's still do that 4-way team, or the 4-way. To prelude that is Ibushi. Oh, I guess we'll just go Golden Ace and Young Bucks, make that a little easier. And then, trying to think who would be a good... Because I was thinking Yoshida, or we could go with a Young Lion. Give a Young Lion each guy. We'll have, Yazutaka. And then... Thinking Okada. Thinking going Chaos. That's maybe a little too good of a match, though, at the same time. So maybe not. Because I'm just... it's tough, man. It's tough to really decipher what it should be. Because we've kind of went kind of everywhere with it. A lot of different options we can go with. We could, I can't do Team Filthy. Not enough people. Suzuki-gun's an option, I guess, but then kind of would be weird at the same time. Well, let's go with United Empire. Actually, let's go with Zack. Let's go with Okan. Getsuya Kitamura. And then let's go Makabe and Gresham. Oh, actually, let's go let's go Gavin McGavin, I guess. So it kind of went away from what we were wanting. So we'll throw Watto in there instead. I mean, it's a shit show. It's an absolute shit show. But it's going to give a nice win to Great Okan. As he's going to beat Watto. We could have this be the Technical Masterclass, I guess, but I'm just going to go away from that. So yeah, now we need our Steal the Show match and our... Which, Steal the Show, I'm thinking House of Torture Junior team, which is going to be Taiji Shimori and Drew Parker, of the newest member of House of Torture as well. I just feel like Drew, you know, he kind of fits what the House of Torture is, but also is a junior guy, and it can add into him and Ishimori. I think that could be a pretty fun team. Definitely a better version, I think, on paper than El Phantasmo and Ishimori. Which I think we should have Yujiro and El Phantasmo team up. It's kind of the BC Outcast. Give it 12, and we'll have Drew Parker beat Phantasmo. Nice. And then for the opener, we need a not a Young Lions match. We just need a Technical Masterclass match. We'll do a tag. As I would like to see Jarvis get involved for United Empire. Let's exclude people so I can kind of see. I mean, not like I really... Yeah, but let's go with Kojima, actually. Let's go with Kojima and Tamura. Against... Let's see what we can do as far as Makabe. Actually, let's do Harada and Ishii. I like that, because obviously these two, you know... Surprised we haven't done this as a tag, because you have the mentor and the protege. I think it just works on all fronts, as Tamura finally... Fuck, he still is. Damn it, his experience, it's still at 23. Fuck. So close. So damn close. Don't want him to beat... So I guess we'll just have... We'll have... Ooh, do we have Harada beat Kojima here? That'd be pretty big. don't think so, though. I think we'll have Ishii win. He can beat Kojima, and we'll call it a day. Pretty good show, though. Got a lot going on. New guys of House of Torture, and we'll see how they do. As, yeah, just want to make sure that was set. And then just scroll to it. Let's run the show. 56, yeah. Not bad at all. Obviously, all Ishii and Tamura and Kojima. Ishii with a vertical drop brainbuster in 16-18 there. 62. Yeah, I mean, Drew Parker, he is, I mean, definitely a lot better. He was off his game, and he still outperformed El Phantasmo, so that works out really well. As he pins El Phantasmo with the flying foot stomp. Hell yeah. Only thing that would have made that better is if they had chemistry boost. 71 for the 10-man as United Empire get the win. As Great Khan with the Cobra Clutch on Master Watto. So yeah, I mean, Watto's worst guy just makes sense, you know, as Bushi looked good, though. He got, did pretty well for himself, an 82. That's really good for a tour show. Really, really good. 66 for the 8-man here. God damn it. I figured Brody King wouldn't be too great with him not having any pop, but at least towards Sugiura, you know, mid-50s. That's not bad. Not bad at all. So yeah, Brody could definitely be elevated by either having him and Miro, which I like that team a lot, and also him and Sugiura as well. That could be a pretty good, like, decent undercard team, but yeah, I like it. And plus, you can have him and Jay, you know. Again, there's just the possibilities of the combinations you can do. Pretty endless with the House of Torture. So 83 for the first 4-way. It's really good, especially with Bushi being involved, only getting a 59 is Naito with the Destino. Outperformed everybody. Way to go, Naito. It was a main event. 81. I was surprised by that, as Pac, best guy in the match, beats Joe Doring, who was almost the worst guy in the match. Ray Phoenix with a 71. Yeah, that was a tough one, because it was like, well, we'd have to do someone that's, you know, as far as it's either going to be Phoenix or Pentagon, and obviously Phoenix is the better of the two in this mod, so we just went with that. But that's a fun match, though. Kind of two, you know, obviously the two tag champs. You got the two junior guys. You obviously got the man who's been in the junior and has been in the best Super Junior and the G1 in the same year. And he gets his win back, too. So I just think that was a very compelling tour show. Definitely a bounce back from the last show. So then we got our final tour show. And, you know, we obviously don't have to stop the recording because it's it's the very next day here. Day 4. And then once we're all done with our 4 tour days, we can actually go through the tournament and see where everybody's at. So that's fun. But hopefully everything you know, goes well on this last day. It would very much suck as far as somebody getting hurt here at the end. As you see another person joining House of Torture, Masashi Takeda, which I think will have him and Toru kind of team mostly in House of Torture, because I mean that just having the two deathmatch dudes teaming up would be pretty fun. Very much a different feel is the game plan with this, with House of Torture. Having people that some of them, you know, wouldn't be maybe the greatest of fit as far as a normal day New Japan save would go, but to have deathmatch dudes in House of Torture just seems like that would make sense. As I know our final show. And they got us back in Corker. So yeah, then we have the Ibushi, Tanahashi, and the Young Bucks 4-way, but there's also a United Empire, Liberty United 4-way with Zack, Juice, Shelley, and Makabe. As Milano and Yasutaka Yano as passing on tips on microphone work, and then Ishii passing on psychology to Harada. Yeah, so Juice won the 4-way as far as it was the Gaijin 4-way. They had Juice, Tama, Cobb, and Brody, and then the junior 4-way. Shelley won. Yeah, interesting. So again, getting out of Kanto if we can. Perfect. Yeah, I guess we'll just run. We'll run the the Sun Plaza here in Hiroshima. So yeah, Bushi, Tana. This is probably the main. Is Tanahashi's gonna beat Nick Jackson. Pretty good match though, I think. And having Ibushi having Tanahashi rather get the win, he's really come on strong, and I think he could be a fun guy to have in King of Pro Wrestling and the Liberty United Empire 4-way. Could have went with really any of these guys, to be honest. I think all of them could have been a great choice, but we went with Zach beating Juice, which I thought that was pretty cool to do. As the strong open weight champion going on to the tournament. So, we'll see what we got as far as the rest of the card. What we can do. Maybe something as far as, just to kind of see what we can do here. I think this is probably best to go from this page. Oh, didn't mean to click out of it. So this is what the tournament's going to look like here. So the first round matches, Toru Yano, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Pac, Ryu Lee, Zack Sabre Jr., Tetsuya Naito, and Brody Lee and Jay White. So you see a lumberjack match. I figured that'd be kind of fun to see the House of Torture guys and the Dark Order guys around ringside. Submission only match in Zack and Naito. That could be interesting. Obviously, that's playing a little bit more into Zack's strengths, but Naito, I think, is very technically sound to do that match. We got Pac, Ryu Lee, just a normal singles match. Just felt like that was fun. And then a finishers only, air quotes there. Obviously, we can't really make that a thing in TEW, but that's the idea. Left Tanahashi and Yano. Semifinals, a 30-minute Iron Man match between Pac and Tanahashi. Should be fun, and then a cage match with Zack and Jay White, which I'm interested to see how that does. Hoping that goes over well. Then the co-main event, Chaos, Task Force Death, building up to Autumn Attack, which Autumn Attack, Kazuchika Okada is going to take on Kenta in the main event for the world title, because there wasn't a lot of, from now until Wrestle Dynasty, I felt like there was not a whole lot of options you can do, but I like this as far as, he's facing Omega, so to do something before then to have that match with Kenta, since he beat him in the G1, I felt like that was the perfect time to do it there. And I think that should be a pretty fun main event, too, for that tour, but that's a pretty solid co-main, too, obviously, a lot of talented fucking guys in it. In our main event, it's going to be Zack and Tanahashi, 2 out of 3 falls match. I love it, and Tanahashi's going to beat Yano and Pac, which is a pretty interesting way to get there. And then for Zack, he's going to beat Naito and Jay White, which is pretty cool. So this is a great showing for Zack. This is a great showing for Tanahashi. And I think all in all, it should be a pretty good show. It's got a lot to live up to, though, as that King of Pro Wrestling show that we did last year, that was really our first big show that we ever did in the series. So it's a special place in my heart, King of Pro Wrestling. Just to have the idea of taking the gimmick matches that the King of Pro Wrestling is associated with, obviously in modern, current day, taking that idea but making it into a tournament format to where it's not so year long and it's not such a total waste to have it be its own event. I think it's kind of like a gimmick pay-per-view in a way, which makes it a little fun. As far as this tag match here, I think we're going to go with the junior tag of the Golden Dragons against the Lucha Brothers. So the Lucha Brothers, they beat, it was them and Pac against a Liberty United team of the junior tag champs, Shelley and Kaji D'Amato and Alexander Hammerstone. It's a bit of a one-sided affair, but Lucha Brothers, Pentagon Junior pinned Kaji D'Amato to kind of prelude for Wrestle Dynasty to have the Lucha Brothers take on Kaji D'Amato and Alex Shelley. So yeah, and also we booked the Golden Dragons on something, and Samurai Del Sol got hurt this time. So that was funny. Yeah, it was the top flight match at New Japan Strong. I didn't really do anything to that. I was just kind of skimming through it. So yeah, we'll have this be Steal the Show, 11 minutes. Hopefully nobody gets fucking hurt, but we'll have Phoenix beat Cinta de Oro there. I think all around, that's a pretty good show. This is so far. Hopefully we keep it up. So we'll do another tag. This time it'll be a heavyweight tag. As we see, Big E's been signed, but, we haven't given him his, because obviously he can't be Big E. He's going to have to be something else. Not exactly sure what yet. I don't know if we'll just stick with his normal name or we'll go with something else. We'll try to be a little creative with it. We'll see. So yeah, Shingo's not really doing anything, which really this idea is for him to get some rest after making it into the G1 finals and winning it all, which is kind of funny because obviously most guys that have been in these 4-way matches have been in the previous G1 that we just ran, so it's just kind of funny how that works out. Let's see. Let's go with Hammerstone. Yeah, that's tough. Tough. I'm thinking having Alexander Hammerstone and Hayata Tamura. I think it could be a pretty good match. As far as should it be happening, probably not. Oh, we went with Filthy Tom instead. That was weird. But I think we're going to give Alexander Hammerstone the win, too. To give him a nice little... let's make it a tag match or something. We could make something work there. As far as having Hammerstone. And... let's see, what would be... We'll go with Cobb. Against Kojima. And Hayato Tamura. I think we're going to scrap that entirely, though. Now that I'm thinking about it. Because I want to do the Super Island Destroyers versus the House of Torture team of Brody, King, and Miro. As we're going to have Miro beat Cobb. Make it 16. Huh. I could have swore their pop was pretty close. Yeah. Fuck off, Jeff Cobb. I guess now Tony Hart just took the fall. Never mind. We'll have, it's fine. It's fine. So that's the undercard matchups. As far as we'll need a couple more. We'll need the technical masterclass match too. Which let's see here. Kind of want to use United Rage, even though it's a terrible idea. We'll go with the Dragon Masters too. Even though it's a heavyweight / junior and 2 heavyweights. Yeah, let's do Gavin McGavin instead. I mean, it's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's gonna give Master Watto. I think that's probably for the best. I mean, they both could use a win, to be fair, but we'll give it to Watto, just so he can get it. He's gonna be Master Watto, or he's gonna be Gavin McGavin, rather. Masterclass. It's not gonna be the greatest opener, but I think this show can kind of hide a lot of that. Hopefully, fingers fucking crossed. As we can debut now, Masashi Takeda. That'd be fun. And Jay White. And then we can do Brody with Disciples of Darkness. Whew. Yeah, I mean, this is a fun little match. 20 minutes. A little prelude to the Lumberjack match. As we're going to have Takeda beat Calvin Tankman. It's a big tour for the House of Torture. Getting their debuts and beating up on people. A lot of fun. Lots of fun. Indeed. Oh, that's right. Every time I keep on thinking that we don't confirm it. Yeah, I mean, it did as well as it was going to do. So at least Fujinami and Watto have excellent chemistry. As Watto pins Gavin McGavin with the corkscrew senton. As McGavin outperformed Tetsuya Kitamura. I figured so. It being a technical masterclass. Yeah, the injury takes a big toll on Samurai Del Sol, but at least Lucha Brothers are doing a lot of the heavy lifting in that match. And yeah, just all around, that was a good little junior tag match. I mean, can you just... The fucking stars have aligned with this one here, as Brody and Miro have excellent chemistry. Can't ask for anything better, as they beat the Super Island Destroyers. Obviously, Miro, with the chemistry boost, outperforms both Hanoi and Cobb. I could see, you know, Brody getting a lot of exposure now because of that. That's going to be awesome. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted. As the House of Torture Dark Order match. Very close. Wrong team wins, but wanted to give House of Torture, of course, a win in their debuts as Masashi Takeda gets them with ankle lock over Calvin Tankman. Awesome. 2 thumbs up. Love it. As the 48 gets a, or the four-way gets a 78. As Juice takes the Saber Driver in 2208. You got 74 for Zach, 72 for Juice, 67 for Shelly, and 66 for Daniel Makabe. 82 for the last four-way, the main event. Probably should have Matt Jackson take the fall, but that's okay. As Kota Ibushi gets robbed of being involved in this. He was the best guy in the match, but all in all, great four-way, and I think this would actually be really fun to see. You got some talented fucking guys in there. And there we go. That is the tour shows. On to our final show. As again, I'm pretty sure it's Saturday. It might actually be Sunday, so we'll keep the recording going just in case. But so far, man oh man, I think it's the House of Torture. I think it's going to be a pretty fun stable to book. Really, there's only one building piece, that being Brody King, and Brody with the tag team with Miro, I think should really help out well, and I think those two really go hand in hand, really, especially with the tag league coming up. Could very well see them being in the tag league. And so let's just, oh yeah, this tomorrow. Well, at least we got a bit of a synopsis there. So we got a couple of people retiring. I thought this was funny as far as Ray Phoenix being charismatic, but where's Naito's? Yeah, here it is. He was shitting on Bushi. Poor Bushi, taking a stray. And yeah, on to the King of Pro Wrestling. Yeah, they got us in the dome. Perfect. I don't know why we keep on trying to use Cablevision, but fuck it. Might as well, right? Might as well just waste our fucking time and effort. As we'll see what these backstage incidents are. As Toru Tsujura brightened the mood backstage after doing several funny cartoon drawings, and Ishii and Arata passing on tips on using psychology. So yeah, we have to beat that 85 and that 88 main event. It's going to be tough, but I think we can do it. It's interesting, you know, really, I was trying to remember what the format was, but I forgot that we had matches in between the tournament rounds. But we're going right into, like, really there's going to be only one extra non-tournament matchup instead of two. Which, actually three. That's going to be interesting. We'll see, maybe I'll add more, but just as of right now, I think that's the plan, to keep it there. So yeah, Tokyo Dome's still going to be, you know, sell out. Figured so. I'm just kind of curious to see where we could run this, if we could anywhere else. I mean, we definitely could, but, you know, Kanto's probably, actually, Osaka would be our best bet. It's interesting. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think we'll keep it in the Tokyo Dome. Just feel like that's for the best. So we'll go with the main event first. Zack and Tanahashi, 2 out of 3 falls, and Zack Sabre Jr. is going to win, and he'll be the second ever King of Pro Wrestling. So he's going to be not main eventing, I will say that. He is not going to be main eventing King of Pro Wrestling, but he'll get a heavyweight title matchup with Kenta. So I think that's going to be a fun match, all things considered. As I want to see if I have the... Okay, perfect, I do have the format here. Perfect. So yeah, I knew this was here. The big-ass 10-man of Chaos and Task Force Death, as Kenta's going to be Rocky there. And then we got the semifinals of Zack and Jay White in the cage. Zack's going to beat, obviously, Jay White. And then for the other semifinals, Pac and Tanahashi, the 30-minute Iron Man match, which Tanahashi will be winning. And we got as far as now on to the Brody Jay White Lumberjack match. We got all the people at ringside, which we now can add the rest of. So yeah, we can add Brody and Takashi Sugiura, rather, Toru's already here. Rather, I've said Takashi Sugiura too. I was like, wait a minute, that's not it. Yeah, we won't throw Ishimori out there. I think that's solid. Solid. Nice. Then Zack and Naito in the submission only match, which we're gonna have that be the technical masterclass. Zack getting the win. Naito's pretty unhappy about that. We'll keep him strong. There we go. And then Pac Ryu Lee, just a regular singles match. I wanted this one to be, really the idea was to be the steal the show match, which I think we still will do that. It's obviously Pac winning. And then Tanahashi and Yano, with Tanahashi beating Yano in the finishers only match. There we go. So yeah, we could potentially add one more match, but then we'd have 9, and it's just gonna be weird. I think we're gonna keep it with 8 here. So we'll just add our pre-show matches, which I want to see if Sugiura and Takeda have any chemistry. Might as well. See who's going to be their victims here. I think the Gods of War will fill that void. As, not really, I guess we'll give it to Takeda. And for the junior match, or I guess it doesn't have to be a junior match, it just could be any match. Here, as far as, let's go with the 6-man. Yeah, let's go, Tom, Alex, maybe not. Trying to think who really has not been used a whole lot. Yeah, I guess we're going to Tenkoji with Tamura. And Great Bash Shield with Kendo Koben. Tamura over Koben. All is well. There we go. Alright, let's run the show. So 62 for the first of 2 pre-show matches. Hail Tamura's in the 60s now. Tremendous. As Tamura with the jackhammer in 1140. At least Kendo Koben's almost on the 50s too. 63 for Takeda and Sugiura. They don't have chemistry boost, but pretty solid deathmatch tag team against the Gods of War there. 78 for the opener. Yeah, a little too short, but, you know, that's a Toriano match, and it's a finishers only match. So, yeah, High Five flows him. The standing version, so it's basically the crossbody. Just felt like that'd be a fun way to end a finishers only match. 79 for Pac and Ryu Lee, as Pac with the Shooting Star Press on 1350. A little too short again. Gotta do what you gotta do. A 91 for Zack Sabre Jr. and Tetsuya Naito in this technical masterclass. That did really fucking well, as Yami Naito with a 93. I am really, really impressed by Naito's ability there in that technical masterclass. Yeah, that's awesome. An 81, bit of a steep drop there, as what happens here is off the ropes goes Brody. Sugiura gets a bundle of light tubes, smacks him in the back as he's off the ropes. As the referee doesn't see it, as he's kind of distracted. There's some fighting going on outside that have kind of made it onto the apron. So, the referee's trying to get some type of order done. I want to say it's Red Shoes is the ref for this. Yep. So, yeah, Red Shoes is trying to get some order in. Sugiura gets a bundle of light tubes that are wrapped together, smacks Brody with it into the Blade Runner. And that is your finish there. Fun win for Jay White. It's a 93 as Tanahashi gets 2 falls to 1. I like that. I think that's exactly how I really went with that. I wasn't really thinking on what I would want the kind of result to be, but a 2 to 1 is perfect. And 83 for Zack Sabre Jr. and Jay White in the cage, as Zack gets the Winter European Clutch in 1944. Good stuff there. It's a 79 for this co-main. Yeah, probably went a little too on the side of the co-main, with it, with Goto being involved and Yo, but and even Pentagon Jr., but there's a lot of talented guys, obviously, still in, like, Ashino and Okada and Kenta and Phoenix. Well, where's Joe Doring at? There he is, a 74. Which is surprising, but he was off his game, that's why. Makes sense. But, all around, I think that was a pretty solid co-main. As our main event, an 89, Tanahashi and Zack, 2 falls to 1. Tanahashi couldn't get the win this time, 2 falls to 1. As Zack Sabre Jr. with a huge win and is your second ever King of Pro Wrestling. And he's got a future title match with Kenta. But that will have to wait. As, that's up to an 89 now. It's weird because I think, as far as, I'm trying to think, I think it's Royal Quest, maybe, is when he'll have that title match. Which is cool. because obviously that's, you know, gonna be a little hometown hero trying to get the heavyweight title off of either Kazuchika Okada or Kenta, depending on what happens at Autumn Attack. So I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. But a great show, a lot of fun stuff. Zack Sabre Jr. God bless him. he was fantastic. So was Tanahashi. You know, him and Pac, best match of the night. So I think, yeah, let's give some love to Zack. Let's give some love to Tanahashi here. And, see who else to give some love to. Yeah, I think Naito. You know, Naito put the kid over. And, had some good stuff. Some good stuff there. So, yeah, what a show. What a tour. That's always, you know, one of my favorite tours to book. And now that Wrestle Dynasty tour. Which, you know, we know the main and co-main. Actually, no, I was thinking Zack and Kenta was happening. No, it's happening in Wrestle Dynasty. I'm an idiot. But yes, so Zack and Kenta's the co-main. Omega Okada's the main. That's all I'm going to reveal as far as right now. But I do have the entire card, and I'm looking at it right now. And I'm very excited to see how it plays out. I think there's going to be a lot of fun stuff involved. As Ricochet's got a belt. I got the 24/7 title. Hoping for something good. And a pay raise for Zack Sabre Jr. But thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time for the Wrestle Dynasty tour. Take care, everyone.